Do you dream of writing a book and hoping that it would become a bestseller? Think you're too old or that people wouldn't be interested in your book idea? Well, my next guest has helped 9 clients in a year and a half who were just like you, dreaming of becoming an author. And I bet that many didn't know where to start and probably thought that they were too old. And guess what? So far, 7 out of that 9 have made the #1 Amazon bestsellers list. Mary Helen Conroy, our guest today, is an inspirational speaker, reinvention life coach, and the author of a Kindle #1 bestseller, The Amazing Itty Bitty Retirement Book. Mary Helen's reinvention story. She had a pandemic pivot herself, which was featured in the Huffington Post, Wisconsin Public Radio, and a variety of podcasts. She has been named the midwife of midlife, and her company, Life's a Daring Adventure, has sought to remind folks that regardless of their age, they are not alone and they're not done yet, which is what this show is all about. Mary, thank you so much for joining us, because the last time we talked was when I just started the midlife leap, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Spanita. It's such a pleasure. And I'm so glad to see that your dreams are expanding and moving. And I think that that's the excitement I've always gotten as I've listened to your podcast, is that it just gives us the hope that every single day we wake up is a blessing, and what can we do with it? So thanks so much for inviting me here today. Yeah.
So how did you get started? Because you had the pandemic pivot, you were primarily a coach, speaker, etc.
Right.
And you had to make a change. How did this workshop helping people become authors come about?
Certainly. And it was really hard because I haven't used the retirement word. I left my career position back in 2014 and really had to give a lot of thought to what was going to be next. And I looked at myself and said, Mary Helen, you're 62. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? And I came up with the Helen Keller quote, life's a daring adventure and you're not done yet. And that really has helped every single day when I get up. I am not done yet. And I will tell your audience that if you're not dead, you're not done. So with that in mind, when the pandemic hit, it was difficult, Sunita. I can't tell you, when you have a full calendar in January of 20 and March of 20, and you've got lots of speaking engagements, etc., and it's gone. Everything that I thought would happen was gone. I thought maybe this is it. Maybe just, settle back and do something. But one woman contacted me and she said, I'd like to do a book, because I always start with just what you started. You said people have a dream of writing a book. And one of my other big quotes right now is, a book is a dream you hold in your hand. A book is a dream you hold in your hand, because I don't know about you, but books have been an important part of my life. I was a librarian. Books are important. And I asked her what her dream was, and she said, I want to do a book. I said, okay. And this was April 25th of 2020. And she said, I'd like the book by June 1st. It's a book on LGBT issues. It's called Be an Inclusion Ally. And I told Lisa, okay, let's start. We published the book on May 31st of 2020. It was 45 days later, and we got the book published, and it hit #1 Amazon bestseller. She was the first one, and she has sold about 3,000 copies. She's made about $5,000 on this. Wow. But I got to tell your readers, that's not why you do a book. The reason you do a book is because a book is a dream you hold in your hand. And it's awesome. It's awesome when we have Zoom parties of people opening their boxes of their book.
Because I like that you said that writing your own book is a dream in your hand, because I am an advocate for making sure that when I hit retirement, and of course, as I come to those days where it's the end, that I don't have a life of coulda, woulda, shoulda, a
Right.
lot of, regrets. And I think that would be the biggest thing of this audience, our senior citizens. And many have an idea. Many have, actually, my dad had started his life story, and I'm going to print it, maybe just send it to family members or whatever. He never finished it, but still just put pen to paper, getting on your computer or whatever. So what my biggest question, I guess, with your workshop is, what are the 3 primary tips, or where do you have your clients start?
You start by saying, I'm going to start. One of my big kind of ideas is that you need to eat the elephant. A book is so big. A book for most people is like the largest thing they've ever thought of doing in their life. I can't write the book. Nobody will read the book. Who cares about the book? I don't have a thought in my head. All right, that's your elephant. Name the elephant. I want my book. Name the elephant as book, whatever it is. But you need to then start spoonful by spoonful eating the book. So in 2 of my authors, what we did, and I encourage anybody to do this, is to remember your ABCs. Remember your ABCs. Most of us have. If I was going to do something on, podcasting, A is for audience, B is for billable, C is for conversations. Start with something and break it down by the alphabet. And here's a really good plan for you then, Sunita. You ready?
Okay.
If you do, there's 26 letters in the alphabet. If you write 5 pages, 250 words a page, but 5 pages on 26 letters, you've got like 130 pages. You've got a book. And when you do that, then you add, the table of contents, the dedication and stuff. People don't read 300-page books anymore.
No.
They don't. No. You want a book that's about, and so tip number 1 is eat the elephant. Break it down small, break it down to the alphabet. 2 is that make it small, because that's the way we all learn. You want either tips. 15 tips work too. If you're a tip person, like if I looked at what I've learned in my life, and that's what I did with my amazing itty bitty retirement book. I have 15 tips on how to retire in that book. And the first page is the tip, and the second page is how to accomplish the tip. Okay. So if you look in your life even, what 15 ideas have you learned about living so far? 1 is keep your friends really close. 1 is remember every day as a gift and make it as perfect as you can. I could do 15 tips and I could just make that my book to be able to share with friends and relatives, etc. The third thing is you are not writing Moby Dick. You are not writing a classic. You are writing something that means something to you. And just putting the pen to paper. I've been a journaler for years. And people say, well, do you read them? No, I've never reread them. I have them. My children will probably burn them because who cares? And it's okay. But I have given myself a voice by writing in my journals. And that's what I encourage people. Tip 3 would be give yourself a voice somewhere in your life to say what's important to you. My last client was an 81-year-old in a very small town in Wisconsin. And they contacted me and said, we wrote this book, but we don't know how to get it published, etc. It was awesome. It's called Rimshot. It's about a basketball coach and how he works with his team. The man had been a book coach, a basketball coach. It is a delightful story. He had been working on it 4 or 5 years. it gave him pleasure in the writing as much as it gave him pleasure the day he opened the box.
So you can help a client with actually getting started and writing the book, the editing, getting it published, like marketing. You're able to help them with all aspects.
What my wheelhouse is, and my superpowers for you is that I can book coach you through it. I will make, I can work with you to keep you on target. I become an accountability coach. And so it really, that whole life coaching thing that I do, but I usually meet, especially as we get closer, maybe it's twice a month for the first couple of months. Then maybe it's every week, maybe it's whatever you need to get the book done. Because it doesn't help to not have the book. You can't publish a non-book.
Yeah.
So get the book done. And then I do know how to work Amazon. I know how to publish a book. I am not an editor. I'm not an editor. So I always encourage people to get their own editor. And whoever that might be. And there's lots of people out there that do that. And then I will help you to get marketed. Now, is everybody going to be a #1 bestseller? Nah, not everybody. But I also know some of your audience might be people who have a career that they want to have the book in the back of the room when they're working like you could for yourself. And you have a mailing list, you've got people that would buy the book. Most books do not sell more than 250 copies ever. It's just a thing.
That's okay. It's just getting it done.
It doesn't.
I like that you mentioned the journaling. My very first episode of the Senior Leap was, I'm trying to remember, I think she wrote the book in her 80s or 70s. I don't recall, but she's, late life writer and publisher, but she had been journaling during her vacation in Italy. You might have seen that episode.
I did.
Yeah. And I thought that was so inspirational. But real quick too, because on my stand for my flower here is my book. So when you mentioned Supreme Warrior, when you mentioned a small book, and I was inspired, like, I love books. I'm a bookaholic. I have too many books. And I always wanted to write something that was inspirational. I recall I was actually on set of a commercial, and this guy had just finished it was probably half of this size.
Right.
And he was so satisfied and so happy that he got content and information that he could use for his life quickly. And I decided after that, so when I write, I'm going to make sure that my book is something that people can finish quickly and get what they need. So you're so on point with that. Because and mine, oops, I'm blurred here. So I need to unblur and you'll get to see my fan going, which is always kind of a fun thing. But in my book, the Itty Bitty, and is that showing right for you, or are we mirrored? It's better now, yeah.
Okay. But it is, again, 15 tips. That's all you want. I love picking up books like yours that will just share with people a thought, an idea. But I also understand at this point in our lives that we want to leave a memory, leave a legacy. I'm just saying, don't tell everybody you had a peanut butter jelly sandwich on Thursday when you're writing that.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned, because I know a lot of people want to write their life story, just without some life tips for that. So that it's, because most people, unless they've gone through some great, overcome maybe a drug problem or something that's going to inspire someone, most people are not going to be able to sell their book just about their life story. Because honestly, I get kind of tired of reading. I want to get to the meat, get to the tips, get to the information. So there's a lot of books I don't buy because I don't feel like, and I don't have time to read a lot of the fluff.
Well, and I think that, we've got the large book. I mean, I'm sure that there are people in your audience that have the best mystery story ever that they've been working on. Yeah. And it's going to be 250 pages, and that's okay, because I hope you finish that book, because I love mystery stories.
Yes.
And then we've got the gentleman that wrote the basketball coach. That's about 150 pages. And I also made his book in large print so that his colleagues, all the people down the block that kept saying to him, "Are you really doing a book?" They could actually read the book because I put it in large type for him. And then you've got the people who, at whatever age, have a business that they want to continue marketing. Each of those reasons is just a good one to talk about.
Okay.
Again, it's your dream.
Mentioning the mystery book also, because I don't have time to read a lot of mystery books, but that is on my list once I'm retired and I have time to read a lot of I guess I call it the fluff. I just don't have time right now, but I do agree with that. So how would someone, so you're mainly a book coach, so it's not like you have a set curriculum, you're working with someone from wherever they are. How would a potential client reach you, and just understanding that whether they're in the idea stage, don't really know what they want to write, if they've already been writing the book, just like the former basketball coach, they can contact you from whatever stage they're at and you can assist them.
Right. What I will be doing is I am going to be holding a workshop in November. And that will be more like a Zoom. It'll just be a Zoom call because I have a lot of people that just want to get more information than what this is and want to know if it means something to them or not. And so I will be doing that November. Let me pull up that calendar. Isn't it good that Sunita puts real people on her podcast? November 16th at 1 p.m.
Perfect.
And I'm sure you'll be sharing my email address. If not, it's maryhelenconroy@gmail.com to ask any questions whatsoever. But I hope that people will come to the November 16th session because it's just going to be a conversation. It's just a conversation. No money, no whatever. It's just a conversation. But because I can't tell you how meaningful it is for me to have discovered a career for myself that includes the coaching to help people, the library stuff, because I have a 20-some year career as a librarian, and my researching piece, and then to know that I can make a book in your hand. I can't tell you what it's like waking up in the morning knowing that my life is good. It's good. Yeah. And it's never been, I've all had the pieces, but I'm working on one right now. The woman is 70 plus, and we're doing a Christmas tree book for her. She does Christmas trees every year in the number of 63 of them in her condo.
Wonderful.
It's a lot of Christmas trees.
And great timing.
And it's great timing. And so we're working to get it out for the holiday season. But it's going to be mostly pictures and then the description of the tree. And how fun. Every day I get to wake up and go, okay, what tree am I going to play with today?
Yeah.
But again, we can look at our lives like that. Was it the playground that you grew up on that you want to put a picture of and talk about it? Do you have maybe, 50 pictures and you want to write something on those pictures? Again, eat the elephant, make it small and make it manageable so that you can get it done.
Yeah.
And you're not going to sell more than 250 copies, even though I've been told I'm a liar on that. But if you had one book in your hand that had your name on it and you saw it on Amazon.com, what would that be for you? For me, it's priceless. Yeah. It's priceless.
For me, it's just another goal checked off.
It is, and especially I'm 70 plus, and when I wrote my book and did that, it changed everything. It does, because then again that, as I say, if you're not dead, you're not done.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Mary, for joining us. And I'm looking forward to hearing about some of the more of the new authors that you help to
Sure,
inspire.
sure,
Maybe we can get some of them on the show here.
sure, sure. I would, I'll be happy. I think Mike would be excellent for you. I'm telling you, at 81, that man was so excited. I can't tell you. Can't tell you.
Wonderful.
So thank you so much, Sunita. It's been a pleasure as always. And all of you, just life's a daring adventure and you're not done yet. Thanks again.
Not done yet. Thank you so much.